everyone. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Michelle Di Petrillo and I am a hospital nurse liaison for Centers Healthcare. I love sharing recipes with you because cooking is one of my favorite things to do, as most of you know. So I thought it would be fun in time for the Super Bowl to share with you one of my favorite easy taco dips. It's no bake. You can make it the morning of, stick it in the fridge, and forget about it until your guests arrive, and then pull it out for a quick and easy appetizer. So I'm going to show you some of the ingredients and different things I'm going to use to make this recipe. First, I have my KitchenAid stand mixer. If you don't have a stand mixer, that's fine. You can mix by hand, or if you wanted to use one of the hand mixers, you could do that too. But I have this, so this is what I'm going to use. I also have a disposable little pan here that I'm going to use for easy cleanup. I also have the ingredients now. I'm going to start with that. I've got 2 blocks of cream cheese. I did just the regular fat. If you wanted to do a lighter recipe, you could always do low fat or fat free. I need 2 cups of sour cream, which is actually a whole container here, a 16-ounce container. I've got light sour cream because it's what my market had, so I'm going to use that. Again, if you wanted to do a lightened up recipe, you can use light sour cream. You could even use Greek yogurt fat-free if you wanted less calories, kind of more protein, so you could do that if you wanted to. I've also got some Mexican shredded cheese. You could use cheddar, you could use really whatever kind of shredded cheese you like. This was on sale, so this is the one I went with. I've got 2 cups of chopped iceberg lettuce. You can buy it pre-shredded and then just give it a little chop if you prefer, or you can buy it the full head of lettuce and chop that. I've got some olives that I'm gonna put on top. Pickled jalapeños. You're gonna need 1/4 cup. This really doesn't make the recipe too spicy. For those of you that don't like spicy foods, it just adds a little bit of a hint of flavor. A lot of my friends who don't like spicy stuff love this dip. And actually, I'm going over one of my friend's houses tonight who hates spicy things. So I know for a fact she loves this dip. So if that speaks to anything, it's not spicy. More pickled jalapenos. I'm not going to use this whole jar, but I'm going to put a few on the top when the recipe's done. I've got some chopped tomatoes. These are 3 chopped plum tomatoes. I pulled the insides out of them, the juicy kind of like seed part. You don't want those in there because if you stick it in the fridge in the morning, when you go to pull it out, it's gonna make it soggy. So we don't want that. So I pulled all the innards out. I also have some chopped scallions that we're gonna sprinkle on top. And we're gonna need some lime, a full lime juice that we're gonna put in the recipe. Adds a nice flavor to it, as well as we're gonna need taco seasoning. I went with mild, 1 whole packet's gonna go in. If you wanted hot and spicy, if you like spicy, you could use one of the hot and spicy packets. And then lastly, we're going to do 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. Sounds like a lot, but I swear it adds a really, really nice flavor to this recipe. Next, or I should say lastly, of course, we're gonna need chips to dip in. I like these little scoops, the frito scoops, but you can use Tostitos, you could use tortilla chips, really whatever you like. You can use veggies if you want, but these are pretty much the ingredients that we're gonna use. So now I'm gonna show you how we put it all together. So I've added my 2 blocks of cream cheese to my KitchenAid mixer. You want them at room temperature before you do this, otherwise it's not gonna mix very well. So mine have been sitting out for a little while. They're at room temp, and I'm just gonna give them a little mix here before I add my sour cream. So once that's all kind of mixed up and you can tell, you know, it's kind of touching the edges of the bowl there that it's mixed in. Whoop. I'm gonna turn that off, unlock it, lift this up, and I'm gonna add my full container or 2 cups of sour cream. Now, usually for the Super Bowl, I actually double this recipe depending on how many people you have coming over. But tonight, since I'm just going over to my girlfriend's house and we're gonna be hanging out, just the 2 of us, maybe our husbands will be there, but you know, not too many people, I'm just gonna go with this size dip. All right, so I've got all the sour cream in. I'm gonna add my full packet here of the mild taco seasoning. I'm gonna give that a mix before I add my lime juice and my pickled jalapenos. Actually, I almost forgot, you wanna add your garlic powder in now too, with the other seasonings there. All of it out. There we go. Actually lock it. Give it a mix. I'm gonna start out slow with the mix just because the powder poofs up. And then once it's kind of incorporated, I'm gonna give it more of a zhuzh there. Actually grab my little spatula to make sure I get it all off the sides as well. So you want to incorporate everything. Lift this up. Make sure we get it all in there because sometimes the cream cheese gets stuck at the bottom. So you want to kind of give it a little pull up from the bowl here. Make sure it's all incorporated. Right. Another mix here. Okey-doke. Looking pretty good. All right. Now that that's done, the next thing I want to do is I want to add my pickled jalapenos and I'm going to add my lime juice and give it another mix. So, lift it up. Okay. And we're going to squeeze our whole lime. I cut it in half and I have this cool little lime juicer. Get all the lime juice. And again, if you don't have limes for some reason and you have everything else at home, you can omit them, but it adds a nice little flavor to the dip. All right, got my whole lime in there. I'm gonna put this back down and give her another mix. Make sure it's all incorporated so we get all those great flavors together. Throw these out. Talk about an easy dip. Quick, easy, you don't have to bake it, and everybody loves it. All right, now that that's fully mixed, whoops, I keep going the wrong way because I'm used to being on this side of it because normally I have it behind me. But now that that's done, I'm kind of gonna lift this up. I wanna make sure that I've got all of the stuff on here incorporated too. Right. Let's say that's just about good enough. Give it one more little mix because there was some powder on there. I say powder, but there's some seasoning, I should say, on there. All right. And that should be good. Next, we're gonna transfer it to our little tin. I've taken the mixture out of the KitchenAid and I put it into this little disposable tin. I just make sure it's spread out evenly. And now I'm gonna start layering. I always like to do cheese first, a little bit of cheese, then lettuce, then the rest of the stuff. So start with your cheese, a little bit on the bottom here. Okay. I use the whole bag. I love cheese. Okay, now that I've done that, I'm gonna take my 2 cups of shredded lettuce here that I chopped. Just kind of evenly spread it out. And if you want more lettuce, you can feel free to add more chopped lettuce. If you prefer less lettuce, add less lettuce. It's really whatever you like. For me, 2 cups seems to be good. I like it because it covers the entire tin. Now I'm gonna add a little bit more cheese. Or I should say the rest of the package of the cheese here. Just makes it look kind of neat. All right, now that the cheese has been added, I'm gonna do my tomatoes and Sprinkle those on. You really don't need all 3 tomatoes. I kind of went a little crazy chopping them up. You could probably get away with 1.5 to 2, but I cut a lot of tomatoes up, which is great because then I can put them on salads later. I never met a tomato I didn't like, so. All right. Well, maybe I will use the whole thing here. I like tomato. So doesn't my friend Nicole, who I'm going over her house tonight, so we'll add those. Now, one thing she doesn't like is olives, so I'm only gonna add olives to half of this dip. And that's the nice thing. If you have people that don't like certain things, you can kind of take them out of the recipe if you want. So I'm gonna go with half with olives and half without. Next, I'm gonna take my scallions and sprinkle those on top. You might have people that don't like onions or don't like scallions. You could use chives instead of scallions too if you prefer, and I didn't use the full amount that I had chopped up, but that's okay. Next, I'm gonna just take my jalapeños. I like to kind of just put them in a row or in a few rows going down here. Tell you, this dip is just so easy to make. It's probably one of my favorite things about it and why I make it so often. It's nice to have easy kind of go-to things to bring to parties or to make for parties, especially when they're a hit and people like them. Definitely helps. And here is our finished easy taco dip. I hope you all enjoy this recipe and everyone has a great time watching the Super Bowl. From my kitchen to yours, bon appetit.